Hello everyone. Thank you for joining me here today. This is Ms. Doubrley. We are, believe it or not, in week 6 of the spring term. Today we will be looking at fundamentals B-Day material. So we are going to be exploring our new one-step, the clench and knee one-step. We're also going to be taking a little time to focus on that technique and practice that a little bit with a partner. And we'll be looking at something you probably haven't done before, the Palmheel Cross Block, a very nice self-defense technique that's useful to learn. So we'll take a peek at that tonight as well. But let's go ahead and start the way we start every class together. Let's go ahead and bow in. So if you would join me, please. Sharyut, Kine. Tenets of Taekwondo begin. Courtesy, humility, integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit. Kine. Alrighty, let's go ahead and warm up. So we're going to warm up pretty much by looking at what we're going to be doing today, giving you kind of a sneak peek into what the actual lesson's going to be. Now, we haven't seen this one step yet, and we haven't seen this cross block before, so don't worry about having these perfect in the warm up. We're just trying to get our bodies moving, get those muscles kind of moving after you've been sitting around, getting that blood pumping a little bit. So just follow along as best you can. We're going to start in our warm up by looking at the double tough guy attack. So this may be something that you guys have worked with before, or maybe something that's totally new for you. It's the attack we'll be using in our one step. So let's go ahead and take a look at it together as our warm up. So when we are doing a one step, our partner, of course, is going to nod, send us back, and then ask for their attack. So I'm going to show you what this attack looks like. If you'll just watch this first time, and then you can join me after that. So when we're here, our partner will nod, find the bad guy. I know that means to step back, yell. Hey, they're going to ask for a double tough guy attack, and this is what that's going to look like. I'm going to step through, grab, the front of their gi, the front of their shirt, and then I'm going to slightly pull them in. All right, so let's go ahead and do that together. So let's start here in our parallel stance. Our partner's going to nod. We're going to step back and yell. Hey! They're going to ask for a double tough guy attack, and we're going to give it to them. So let's do it together. We're going to step through, grab, pull in. All right, let's try that again. They're going to nod. We're going to step back. Hey! Double tough guy attack, stepping through, grabbing, pulling slightly. All right, one more time with that. They nod. We step in. Hey! Double tough guy attack. So that's going to be our attack. We'll take a look at that in the lesson as well. We'll focus a little bit more on some of the concepts involved in that when we look at the actual one step. Let's go ahead and warm up with looking at the one step itself. So if we're not the bad guy, but we're actually doing the one step, this is what it's going to look like. Now, again, this first time, you just go ahead and watch so you can see, and then you can join in. So we'll start like we normally do. We're going to be in our beginning stance. This time, we'll be the one doing the nodding. So I'm actually going to nod at my partner. They're going to do that double tough guy attack when I ask. I'm going to say double tough guy attack. So they're going to grab me right about here. I'm going to let them pull me in on the left side. So I'm going to sort of step forward a little bit. That's just where they're doing that slight pull. Now, I'm going to clinch them. So I'm going to reach my hands behind their neck, pull them in nice and tight. I'm going to do 3 knees. 1, 2, 3. Very simple. Then we're going to push off, wedge up, get away. All right, so go ahead and join me. Again, this is new. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're just getting everything moving, but go ahead and follow along as best you can. So here we are. We're going to nod center partner back. We're going to ask for a double tough guy attack. Going to get pulled in. We're going to reach through, pull them in close. 1, 2, 3. Push off, get away. Hey! All right, let's practice that again. Back to our ready stance. We're going to nod center partner back. We're going to ask for a double tough guy attack. Pulling them in close. 1, 2, 3. Push off, get away. Hey! Good. So we're going to look at that in more detail here in just a minute, but that gives you kind of a way to get your body moving, thinking about what we're going to be doing. The last thing we're going to do in warm-up is a technique that we're going to practice in our lesson as well, the Palmheel Cross Block. The idea is real simple. Maybe if somebody's got an arm here, we're going to just take a palm heel, we're going to move that out of the way. So we'll be making a palm heel. Let's go ahead and start with our left hand. Nice tight fingers, thumb in. We're actually going to be pointing that sort of towards the opposite side of the room here. So not actually forward, but sideways. Again, we're imagining there's someone touching us and we don't want them to do that. So we're going to politely or not so politely move that hand away from our shoulder. So it's just a crossed motion. Let's try that a couple times. Nice palm heel and go. Good. Go. Go. Nice. Let's go ahead and try the other side. Again, nice tight fingers, thumb in, close. Go inside here. And go. 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 Good. That's going to make a lot more sense when you have a body in front of you, but it's actually a really useful thing to know. All right, that's what we're doing for warm-up, so let's go ahead and get stretched. Over to your right. Good. Make sure you're being active during your stretch. You should actually really be trying to get those muscles a little bit longer. Shouldn't hurt, but you really feel those muscles as you're doing these things. All right, up super tall. On your tiptoes, fingers stretched. Really feel it along your sides. Nice, let's go ahead and dig it to the floor. This time you should be feeling it at the back of your legs, maybe in your low back. And you don't have to do anything with this one. You actually can just hang and let gravity do all the work. Let your arms hang, let your head hang. Awesome. Back up. Let's go ahead and put our hands on our low back. We're going to bend back slightly, kind of from your waist, so that the top part of you is bending back and then your legs and everything else is still straight. Good, let's come on up. Let's go ahead and do our rotations. So right here from the middle is where we're really turning. We're adding that arm, but we're really focusing on those rotator muscles there in the middle that allow us to do that good twisting that we like to do. All right, let's take that up. Same thing to the ceiling though, a little bit different muscles. Nice. Let's go ahead and stick our left arm out. We're going to pull in gently with the other. Work on that shoulder area. And same thing, other side. Awesome. Let's take that left arm up and behind. Then we're going to use the right to kind of gently pull down or pull in. That should give you an even a little bit more of a stretch there through your shoulder and your triceps, that muscle right here behind your elbow. And same thing, other side. Great. Let's go ahead and link those fingers. Push out, thumbs down. Really try to see if you can get that stretch all the way up your arm. Hopefully even past your elbows, you'll feel it a little even higher up towards your shoulders. Awesome, let's take that up towards the ceiling. And down to the side. Sharyu Kanai. Okay, we're warmed, we're stretched. Let's jump into our lesson. I'm really excited. We are getting to work on a new one-step this week. We are going to be looking at our clinch and knee one-step. So as we kind of looked at in the warm-up, we're going to be doing a double tough guy, and then we're going to be using that clinch and knee that we see out of self-defense kata number 1. When you're doing the double tough guy, I do want you to be a little bit careful in how you're doing that, especially if you're working with a partner who's not experienced, who's just a family member that's helping you out. We're talking about when you're doing the double tough guy that you're grabbing, something like the gi is very easy to grab, and that you're pulling in. And that's true, but you do want to be careful about how much energy you use with that pull in. It can be a very small movement. The idea is they're coming in towards you. If you make it a really big movement, you're going to end up butting heads, and that's not so fun for either one of you. So do make sure you're careful when you're doing that, and that if your partner's doing it, that they're careful as well. There is a small pull in, but not a big pull in. So let's go ahead and look again at that double tough guy attack real quick, and then we'll move into the one step. So again, you'll start here together in our beginning stance, And if they're the bad guy, they're going to be waiting for your nod, right? So once they see that, they're going to step back and yell, "Hey!" They're going to ask, you're going to ask for that double tough guy attack. When you do, they're going to step through and do that. So they're going to step through that back leg. You're going to step through if you're being that bad guy. You're going to reach and grab. And again, you're going to pull in slightly. You're a bad guy, so there's a little bit there. You're not being delicate, but again, not so much that you're going to bump into the person there in front of you. All right, let's try that again. We're here in our parallel stance. They nod. We're going to step back. Hey, double tough guy attack. We're going to step through, grab, pull in. Good. Let's try it one more time. Then we're going to move on to our one step. They're going to nod. We know what that means. Hey, double tough guy attack. Good. So the way we're going to deal with this double tough guy attack is we're going to do something they're not going to expect. We're going to pull them in even closer. They're trying to intimidate us and scare us. We're not going to let that work. We're actually going to bring them in even closer. Once we do that clinch, you want to make sure you keep them there. This isn't just a gentle hug. You're not stroking their hair. We're pulling them in tight and we're keeping them there. Once we have our hands behind their neck, they're actually not going to be able to move easily, and that's what we want. We want to be able to keep them in place so we can do our other terrible things, our knees, which is really what's going to help make sure they're incapacitated enough not to keep on bothering us. Now, one of the other important things to remember while you're doing this is that clinch itself. We're not doing this. We're not trying to get our fingers to fit together. It's hard to do quickly, and when you do it wrong, you can actually jam your fingers, which can be very painful. Believe it or not, it's also not that effective. A better way to do this clinch is to overlap your hands. So instead of this, we're going to put one hand, place the other behind. So they're fitting together here. Now this, of course, is the ideal. In self-defense, you do what you can do quickly. But instead of trying to do this, really today while we're taking this slow, focus on that overlap right there at the back of the head, right at the bottom of the head and into the neck region. You don't want to get too low. You want to keep it a little higher up on the neck, but you're just overlapping, pulling in. Really think about that while you're working on this today. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one step again. So we'll start, of course, as we usually do right here. Now, because we're doing the one step, we're actually doing the nodding. So when you're ready, you'll nod at your partner. And again, when you're ready, you're going to ask for a double tough guy attack. So they're going to step through and grab you somewhere around this region. But when we're wearing gis, it's a really nice place to grab. And then they're going to gently pull you in, or not so gently, of course, in real self-defense. We're going to let ourselves use that energy. We're going to move in with it. So for the one-step purposes, we're going to move forward on our left side. We're going to let that pull just pull us in closer. Again, in real life, whatever way you go in is what you're going to do. But for one step, we're going to let ourselves be pulled in on the left. Once we're in a little closer, now we're going to go ahead and do that clinch. We're going to reach those two hands behind, making sure we're overlapping. Pull them in close. And again, keep them there. This isn't gentle. This isn't just a caress. This is a hold. We're keeping them here. We're going to do 3 knees. As always, make sure these are real knees, not, twitching your leg. We want to come up and through, hit them hard, bring it back, up again, back to the floor, up again. It's going to depend a little bit on your bad guy and you as to where that's going to land. But you're thinking something in the stomach or here in the middle. Again, that's going to vary based on you and your bad guy, but that's kind of what you're aiming for. Probably you're not going to be hitting anywhere like the head or anything like that. That's going to be a little out of range. All right, let's try this a little bit faster. Less talking, more doing. All right, here we are. Going to nod. As for our double tough guy, they're going to grab us. We're going to be pulled in on the left. Reach in, pull close. 1, 2, 3. Push off, get away. Hey! Again, nod, ask for your attack. Double tough guy attack. We're going to get pulled in, clinch, knee. 1, 2, 3. Hey! Again. Double tough guy attack. Hey! Good. If you have a partner who can work this with you this week, go ahead and bring them up. Again, take it nice and slow. Don't try to do these things fast. Don't try to do them hard. Even on a good day, our one-steps are not about making contact. It's about simulating and getting close to those areas where they'd actually land. I want you to be super careful. Miss Doubrley, come on up. Miss Doubrley's going to be our bad guy. Again, this week we're taking it nice and slow. Both you and your partner, go ahead and watch it this first time before you try to do this yourself, all right? As per usual, the first thing you'll want to do is check your distance. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to nod and send Miss Doubrley back. All right. Double tough guy attack. So you can see she pulled me in a little bit, just what I wanted her to do. Well, I'd rather not be in this situation, but for our one step, that was perfect. I've stepped forward on my left side. I'm going to ideally reach between her arms. That doesn't work, you do what you can. But for this part of our one step, I'm going to reach through. Going to find the back of her neck. Place one hand, the other cupped over. Pulling her in close right here. She's going to try to get away. I'm not going to let her. All right, now I'm going to do those knees. So I'm not going to try to look. I'm just going to hit what I can. So there's 1, 2, 3. Going to push off on those shoulder balance points. Get away. Hey! Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this again. Now, if you and your partner, feel comfortable, you can go ahead and join us. But again, please make sure you're taking it nice and slow, not making real contact with those knees, just simulating where you would be placing them. Let's go ahead and try this again, Miss Doubrley. All right. Bye. Double tough guy attack. Knee, knee, knee. Hey. Good. Again, we're going to go ahead and try it again. You and your partner do the same if you'd like to. Check our distance. I'm going to nod and send her back. Bye. Double tough guy attack. One, 2, 3. Hey! Thank you, Miss Doubrley. Now, as you're getting a little bit better with this, have your partner test your clinch. Again, we're not being gentle. Now, we're not trying to break anybody's neck either, but you do want to be keeping them in place, and that's going to be something you'll actually have to think about while you're doing it. I will suggest if you have somebody helping you that's wearing glasses, they may want to take those off while they do it. That could just be uncomfortable for them, and I wouldn't want them damaging those either, which they're kind of in a funny position when they're pulled in close like that. Now, of course, also, they will be in close, so make sure you use somebody who is comfortable doing that with you. All right. Please watch this video again if you need to practice that a couple more times. But I love new one steps. I'm excited we're actually doing a new one this week, and I hope you guys are too. All right, we're going to go ahead now and actually look at that clinch and knee in a little more detail. We're going to add a target, because what we're actually doing with this in real life, we may not always have it around the neck. It could be around something else. But the idea of using it is actually bringing something down while you're bringing your knee up. So you're using your arms and your legs together. It's actually going to pretty much double your power. Moving down and up together, it's a great way to get as much power as you can out of a small technique. So let's go ahead and practice the clinch knee a few times here in the air, and then we're going to ask our partner to come back in and help. So let's get into a nice front stance. So of course that means that our front leg is slightly bent, our back leg is straight, and we've got a nice wide stance here. It's a really good foundation. So we're going to go ahead and put those hands up into that clench, one cupping the other. We're going to pull that person in and keep them there, right? And we're going to move that leg. Good. Good. Now, this time I want you to clench, and I want you to really move those hands each time you move that knee. So, watch this first time. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So as you can see, instead of me just keeping them here, I'm making it a little more dynamic. So I'm pulling my bad guy in each time, adding a little more power by adding a little more movement. So let's try this together. So we've got our clinch up here, we've got it behind them. Instead of just keeping them here, we're gonna imagine that we're actually pulling them in each time while bringing our knee up. So let's try this together. And 1, 2, 3. Good. One more time on this side. And 1, 2, 3. Good. Let's try the other side. So, nice wide front stance. Let's start first stationary. So we're making that clinch, pulling them in. Let's do the knee. 1, 2, 3. Good. Now let's add this motion. Let's make this a little more dynamic. All right? And 1, 2, 3. And again. 1, 2, 3. One more time. And 1, 2, 3. Good. All right, let's go ahead and have a partner join us. Miss Doubrley. Now, we have got this lovely little kind of arm shield here. If you have that available to use, please do. If not, again, just improvise. Working with what you have at home is perfectly fine. And if you don't have somebody to help you, that's okay too. Just keep practicing in the air just like we were doing. So one of the nice things about being able to use this is we can kind of simulate getting behind and then pulling in each time. So again, just watch this first time. I'm just going to take these hands behind. I'm going to cup them just like we've been talking about. It's not quite as high as the neck. That's okay. The idea here is I'm moving my arms while moving my knee. So I'm bringing this down while I'm bringing my knee up. Again, a really good way to multiply our power. So again, just watch. Okay, so learning to move those arms and legs together. We're going to practice this a few more times. You can go ahead and join us now. As always, if you're improvising your training tools, please be careful and mindful about how you're using that. Have them properly distanced. Make sure you're not using full power. It may not be quite as robust as a shield. All right, so the idea is we're cupping behind, hands cupped, and we're going to pull in with our arms while bringing our knee around, okay? So get into position. I am in a front stance, left side forward. So you can go ahead and join me in doing that. All right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's go ahead for these last couple and actually make the clinch. Instead of having it there, actually make it. So we're starting here. We're going to make the clinch, then do it. 8. Good. 9. 10. Good. Thank you. Let's switch sides. Now, you'll find as you're actually doing the clinch behind the shield, it's a little bit harder to do. You're having to reach, you're having to figure out where your hands are, where your bad guy is. It's a good thing to practice. It's not going to be something that's absolutely natural to you. All right, we're going to start with our hands just in behind, and then we'll add the movement. All right, so we're in a front stance again, right side forward. Just go ahead and put those hands cupped behind. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. Now let's go ahead and our bad guys here, we're going to reach behind, do the cup, then do the pull. 8. A little bit harder to do. 9. 10. Good. Thank you, Ms. Doubrley. Definitely something worth practicing a few more times. Again, stuff like this in the heat of the moment isn't going to be as easy to do as you think. So make sure you watch this a couple of times to really get comfortable with that technique. Now, the last thing we're working on today is our Palmheel Cross Block. We'll practice that a couple times in the air, and then we'll go ahead and ask our partner to join us. So again, here you're just in a parallel stance with a nice palm heel, so fingers in tight. Thumb there at the side. This is a sideway motion. So it's where we're often doing a palm heel strike forward. This is to the side. This is moving someone's hand or something like that off of our shoulder. So let's practice this a few times together and then we'll get our bad guy in. All right, we're starting with our left hand and go. Good. Go. 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 Good. Other hand. Nice tight palm heel. And go. 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 One last time. Go. Good. Let's go ahead and get a real person in here to help us. So if you have a partner who can get in to help, please have them do so now. Come on up, Miss Doubrley. If you don't, you can continue to practice just like you're doing in the air. So again, the idea here is that someone's put their hand on me and I'm not okay with that, so I'm going to have them move it. I'm going to make them move it. So Miss Doubrley's going to go ahead and put her arm here on my shoulder. So as you can see, she's just got it there on the shoulder. It's not a real tight grab necessarily, but it's still contact I don't want. So I'm going to try to use this palm heel to find her, maybe her wrist or hand or just kind of far up here on her arm. Not trying to get too far back here. I'm losing my power. I'm not going to be effective. So I need to be close up here, ideally somewhere around the wrist. I'm going to take that technique and I'm just going to move it. It's actually really simple. You don't even have to do it terribly hard. But again, make sure you're using less power when you're doing this with a partner. Start out really slight and you can amp it up incrementally if you need to. All right, let's go ahead and try this again. Have your partner touch your shoulder. Either one, whichever shoulder they're touching, it's your other hand that you're going to use for this palm heel cross block. It's a cross block because we're going across our bodies. All right, let's try that together. And 1. Good. 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. Now this time, I'm going to go ahead and add in a wedge guard there at the end, as if I'm going to move away, which in self-defense we really always want to do. Okay. And what count were we on, Miss Doubrley? So 7, 5. Thank you. All right. So this is going to be 6. And 6. Good. 7. And I think this feels very natural. Like wedge guards are natural for me anyways, but it really flows very nicely. 8. 9. And 10. And grab a little harder, Miss Doubrley. Let's see if it works. All right, she's got a really good grab there. Well, let's see if it works okay against this. We haven't tried it, so we'll find out together. All right, and 10. Good. How'd that feel, Miss Doubrley?
Quite effective.
Okay, good. I thought so. Try it. I think you'll be surprised at how effective this is. Let's go ahead and switch sides now. Now, we're just moving so you guys can see. You can just switch the side you're doing. All right, straightened up here. All right, go ahead and grab Ms. Doubrley. All right, we're going to start here without the wedge guard. We're just going to do the actual palm heel cross block. And 1. Good. 2. 3. 4. 5. Good. Let's go ahead and add that wedge guard. Your partner can also try holding a little bit closer, tighter at this point as well. And you can kind of see how that works. All right, we're going to add our wedge away at the end. And 6. Good. She's got a good hold there. 7. Good. 8. And again, 9. Good. Even with a real grab on there, I'm still able to get away. And 10. Good. Let's try one more thing, Miss Doubrley. Let's try making it higher. If I get higher up in the arm and see how it works. I want you to try that with your partner as well. So she's doing this, and instead of aiming for the wrist, I'm trying up here. Let's see if I can get away then. Like I said, you and your partner tried this too. So I'm using the same thing. Didn't seem to work that time. Doesn't work as well. You really do have to be thinking about where you're placing your technique for this one. And that means closer up here in their arm. You really do need to try to find this spot. It's not real hard to do as long as you're paying attention to what you're doing. But practice it the other way and see how it works. And I think you'll find out real quickly that you want to be careful on how you place your palm heel. Thank you, Miss Doubrley. All right, well, we've got a lot done today. We get to look at our new one-step, very exciting. We got to practice that one-step technique, that clench and knee, kind of freestyle as well. Very important, and it works your brain as well when you're using your arms and legs at the same time, so it's a great thing to practice. And we also got to look at that Palmheel Cross Block, a really nice technique to keep in mind if you're using it correctly and really aiming it for that wrist section. So please watch this video several times this week so you can get more and more comfortable with these techniques. Let's go ahead now and end our lesson the way we usually do. Let's go ahead and bow out together. So if you'll join me, please. Sharyut, Kene. Student oath begin. I pledge to be a champion of freedom and justice. I pledge to observe the tenets of Taekwondo. I pledge to respect my instructors and my fellow students. I pledge never to misuse Taekwondo. I pledge to build a more peaceful world. Kine. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Please make sure to practice this a couple of times this week. If you have questions, feel free to send those to Mr. Booker. We're always happy to answer those in our next video or by email. So thank you for joining me. Have fun. Take care. See you next time.